Good morning and welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. I've come on about a minute early. And so just to see if everything is working properly. I've had a week of many computer issues, including a new computer which doesn't seem to want to be cooperative either. So I'm just going to wait and see if somebody shows good morning, Margaret, and that at least I can be seen and hopefully I can be heard. I don't know how many people I can see on the sidelines as good morning, Tamasin, Helena, Hannaford. Pleasure to have you here. This morning's talk is about beliefs and truth, and it can be a very deep subject, and I'm not trying to dive deep into it, but just present an opportunity for everyone to look within themselves and perhaps see a way to access the truth and not dismiss your beliefs. They go hand in hand, as from what I see. Last week, there were some comments by people in the sidebar that were not happy with what I had said because of their beliefs. And that's promoted this thought pattern within me to ask myself, what is the difference between what I feel is my truth and what I feel are my beliefs? And why can't we have just the truth? And so this led me on a inward journey this week amidst all of the chaos and confusion in the world and in the universe, which was energies are just bombarding us with so much that we many times don't know what to do or what to think. So that's sort of my introduction, and I'll begin. What I wrote up in the column up above was, our beliefs about unresolved hurt can create a blockage to our finding the truth. And I wrote that because that's what I have found within myself, is that I find myself in a period right now of my life where I'm looking at things from a completely different perspective. And I'm looking at them as beliefs that I have always held as truth, and realizing that there is some truth to many of them, and there is no truth to as many others. On how can I discern the difference? So last week's show was about dropping into the heart. And that is one way to sort of still the mind from that conflict or that questioning of, is this truth or is this a belief? And all of the self-judgment we go through. Because the self-judgment in itself is a distraction. And for those of us who do live talk shows, I'm not an expert. Somebody asked me a question offline, thinking I'm an expert. I'm not an expert at anything other than my own life, and trying to figure that out. I'm becoming an expert at that. But an expert really is an ego construct. We don't have to be experts. What we need to be is in agreement to find a better way to live with ourselves, with our families, and with other humans around the world. This is the dilemma right now. This is what's being shown to us by the greater collective of humanity, that we're in a deep distress. And that deep distress has been primarily created through beliefs. And when we believe something, we have been led to think that it's the truth, because somebody who said they were an expert told us that or explained that to us. And I think in the beginning, there were many honest and forthright people who had wisdom and truth, and their gift was to impart it to others. And they did so from their hearts. However, as humanity evolved, we became more enamored with our sort of false self, our ego self, and we became enamored with power and substance and collecting massive amounts of property and power, etc. And in that process, we created beliefs to sell to others in order for them to pay homage to us and to extract livelihood from them. And we all do this. I find myself doing it. However, when I find myself doing it, I say thank you. And I accept that I'm doing it and say, I'm choosing now not to do that because I'm aware. And so truth, in essence, is awareness. And as you all may know, I don't plan for these talks. I wake up in the morning and I come here and I ask for my guidance to come through me and bring forth from my collection of books, etc., what I need to speak on. So this morning, there's two books. This is Spontaneous Healing of Belief, and I've not read it. It's been on my desk, and it called me the other day to come down off that desk and begin to read. But sometimes that may take weeks. And I says, how interesting. It's calling me again this morning, Healing of Belief. So Gregg Braden is a famous person that you may have heard of and listened to and has great wisdom. And I'm not going to say that you have to agree with everything he says, nor do you have to agree with everything that I say. But the second, the little squares, they're quotes. The second one in his book is, we live our lives based on what we believe. And that's Gregg Braden speaking. Think about that. We live our lives based on what we believe. And my question to that is, what if our beliefs are wrong? And this was my question to myself when I read that. What if my beliefs about everything are wrong? I'm still alive. I'm still here. I'm still living. But the way I'm going to interact with people are going to be based on something that is not in the highest good for all. Because when we gather beliefs that embrace everyone, everyone gains from that experience. Everyone is lifted through that experience to what we call our natural God presence, our divine presence. And so it's important for us to try to tap into what we think our beliefs are and when our beliefs come up, and look at them uniquely and question, where did that belief come from? where did I first learn that belief? And how did that belief become so strong in my life? Was it something I chose, or was it something that somebody else suggested that I live by and sometimes programmed me to think and act and live by? So with that said, our beliefs really have the power to change, and those are my words. They've changed our lives many times. And when we were little, we had certain beliefs. When we were adolescents, we had certain beliefs. When we became young married couples and parents, we had different beliefs. When we become older, like myself, in the final stages of our lives, we have also, our beliefs have changed, and we receive new and different beliefs as well. So what I've learned in my own experience, and I'm sure you can witness within your own, that your beliefs have changed many times. There are some that you hold very dear to your heart and true. And those are the ones that we're consciously aware of that usually empower us to act in a more cordial manner with each other, a more beneficial manner with each other. But there are also beliefs that are very devastating to us physically and emotionally. And we have to honor those as well. So we see people who, oh, they believe they have this wonderful belief system and they're all powerful, but we don't see them when they go home. We don't see them when they're not on the public Facebook Live, or they're not in the local supermarket expounding on some great revelation. They all have a life at home where they go home, and many of them are seriously depressed. Many of them are in serious physical illness and pain and suffering. And as empathic beings, I'm sure most of you can recognize that on the outside, many people look like they have everything all together. It's working fine. And you may yourself experience that. And I'm scrolling down here. Cindy says, spend time with the me, myself, and I, sit and just be with nature. That's beautiful, Cindy. Nature is a place that has no belief. If you think about nature, nature does not need to believe in anything. Nature just is. Nature is, in essence, living truth. And when we align with that, we begin to feel better. We don't think about feeling better. We just kind of feel better. Go to the beach, take a walk in the woods, sit in a meadow, top of a mountain. This is actually a place of non-belief because you accept it for its reality, for its truth. This is what we're desiring within ourselves without having to continually go to the mountain or go to the beach every day, but to be able to live within ourselves, to live in any given situation and find that place within ourselves. So with that, beliefs can be negative and beliefs can be positive. So you all know me. I like to talk about the positive. I like to talk about the potential. I like to talk about who we are as divine beings in the presence of light, that which we call God or source or creator. Something with the power to remove all obstacles. And we don't often sit in that space. But our beliefs do have the power to change when they come and align with that source of creation. So Greg Braden also on the 10th little square he puts in his book writes, belief is the program that creates patterns in reality. Patterns. Patterns is a word that keeps coming up for many people that I speak with. And some of them are always trying to erase the patterns or get rid of the patterns, rewrite the patterns. And it's all perfect. But we're never going to get rid of patterns. Patterns are the natural genetic process of life. There is always a patterning. The problem is when the patterning becomes distorted. And I'm sort of sidetracking here a little, but patterns are important in beliefs because our belief systems also have patterns. And what happens is we no longer see the belief, but we see the pattern of the belief and automatically say, oh, that pattern worked for me before. This will work for me because it's the same pattern. On an actuality, it may not, because the pattern may have been distorted, but you're thinking, you're looking at the belief. So we take on all of these patterns into our physical embodiment and into our mental construct of thinking. And when they're erratic or disconnected, it creates chaos. It blocks us from finding truth. It's really simple. I know I say that, but it's also really convoluted. And I'm not one who likes the convoluted part of it. I always try to find the simplest pathway to looking within myself and saying, aha, there's something wrong here. I don't know what it is, but I just sense there's something wrong. And I look at it as a patterning, and I look at it as a belief system, and then I seek to find a way to let go of that, to diminish that, or to erase it completely if it has no value to the present moment I am now breathing in. And many times this may not make a lot of sense to people. But what happens is that all experiences, every experience we have ever experienced, happened both in our minds and our bodies. So they're based on not only actual physical happenings, but what we believed about them. And those are as diverse as we are as humans. So it doesn't necessarily, one is not any more important than any other. The one that's the most important is the one that you're dealing with right now, that you're struggling with to either move beyond or to see in a better light. And so this is the, sort of show message here of desiring truth while honoring belief. Sure, I'd like to get rid of a lot of beliefs that I have. I don't know where they came from, and then some I do know where they came from, and I wish I could make that all go away as well. Yet, what I've learned in this process is eventually they do go away. And the reason they go away is because I'm no longer believing them. I'm no longer allowing them to rule and govern my life. The exact reason why I'm on this show every week speaking It wasn't because I wanted to be here. It wasn't because this was something that I thought, oh, this will be great, Charlie. Why don't you, do a talk show? That never entered my mind. But what happened was when I let go of my fear of I have nothing to say to anybody, when I let go of my belief that I wasn't worthy of listening to, all of a sudden the opportunity arose because there was no longer that blockage. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to have a talk show, but there is something in your life that you have wanted to do that aligns with your truth, your truth, the true being you really are, that you have resisted and resisted and resisted and resisted. Yeah, 3 times and more, because of some belief system that you are deeply attached to. And it's now time to look at what that belief is. And this is how we access truth, is by looking and healing looking at and healing our beliefs. So I've had 10 minutes left, and there was a couple of things I wanted to point out. One was in this book, and they're just going to be titles. I'm not going to read them. But belief is a language. Belief is a personal experience, and belief is personal power. So when we look at beliefs differently and realize that they have all those things, they're experienced, they're powerful, and they're yours. And your beliefs are going to be uniquely different than mine. We can believe in Jesus Christ as the one and only living Son of God. And then somebody can not believe in that. And for those who do believe in that, there's a variety of different aspects of how they believe in that. None of them are right. None of them are wrong. But because of our beliefs, we start to judge each other. And then we start to say, my belief is better than yours, or your belief is wrong. Therefore, you need help. And because my belief is so wonderful, I'm going to play God and help you. Pretty crazy, isn't it? I'm not here to do anything. Express what I'm learning every day in my path. And hopefully it sheds some light on each of you in your paths. So how do we heal our beliefs? The first word I wrote was acceptance. And as you know, my cards I've pulled, this is a beautiful one here of the Helix Nebula. And the card was acceptance. And the great spirit of universal wisdom fills my soul. As I accept the insight and knowledge, I realize my unique potential. And this is how the talk all began this morning with this card. This evolves from simple things of asking for guidance and saying, what does the world need? What do I need to hear and speak about? And so some affirmations for this are, I accept the now and dwell in this state of allowing. As I shift my thoughts to the oneness of the universe, I am filled with understanding and wisdom. I know I have opportunities and support which lead my spirit towards unending powers. That's powerful. That's how, when we come to an acceptance of who we are, our full potential, and let go of all of the beliefs that we've had about ourselves, we start to recognize a tiny little spark in us, a spark of beingness that just is not really describable in words. It's actually magical. It's alchemical. It's powerful beyond our human comprehension, and we start to play with that. And I say the word play because I want people to not think that all of this is a job you have to do, another job, I have to do this. No, learn to play. This is why we go into nature. Nature is so much like the playground. And we have acceptance as the key, the serenity prayer. You know, it's funny that you say that, because I have a prayer. It's the prayer of St. Francis that I'm going to read in the end of this. And it's really about forgiveness, about our beliefs, forgiving ourselves being for, and giving ourselves a reason for letting go of some of our beliefs, and honoring them and saying, when this belief came to me, that's all I knew. Now I know something more. And that belief, without that belief, I may have not gotten here to this truth that is now being revealed to me in this moment. So forgiveness is the key to truth. And then we have to trust. We have to trust ourselves, learn to trust ourselves again. We learn that, wow, it's not about I have to trust you or you or you. If I can't trust myself, I'm certainly not going to trust anybody else. But we've forgotten that so many times our pain, our suffering, our damage emotionally and through our belief systems has been supercharged and made granite in our heart. And so we're going sort of, the vision is, we're going mining. We're going to go mining for all of these impurities in our heart and set them free and say, we thank you, we bless you, but right now I don't no longer need you. And the ultimate key to all of this is love. Love yourself. Learn to love yourself. Learn to love the impurities. Learn to love the pain. Learn to love the suffering that you may be going through. Learn to love the sense of loss or the sense of heartbreak, or and know that your safety is really within you. It's not outside of you. Your truth is not outside of you. Your beliefs are not outside of you. This is all within you. And so in the last 3 minutes, I'm going to read this prayer of St. Francis, and this is in a book from Jack Armstrong. I've mentioned him before, who these were his sort of channeled messages, but he wrote this at the end of a chapter. Let's see if I can find the chapter name, but it was, he was talking about affirmations and goals, affirmations, and meditations. And he starts off with goals. Your desires and dreams emanate from your heart. They are the longing of your soul. Place more form to these dreams and longings, for in giving them form, you can more easily see them as reality, and this will quicken the pace of their realization. So you see, many people are receiving messages, and they're experiencing them, and they're writing them and sharing them with others. And this is what we're here to do. And so we all know who St. Francis is, or most of us do anyway. And this is the prayer of St. Francis. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me so love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, not to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. And with that, I say amen. And I thank you all for being here this morning, listening, and knowing that it's okay to look at your beliefs from a different perspective and question, are they still valid? And if they're not, if within your heart you decide that they are no longer valid, it doesn't make you wrong. It doesn't make anyone else who believes them wrong. It just means that we need to move beyond them and seek the truth within ourselves. Because the truth isn't out here. In the Course in Miracles, this is the illusion. This is where we create and manifest all sorts of things. Good, bad, beautiful, ugly, all of it. But when we clean up and honor the truth within us, the illusion automatically changes. It changes through our beliefs. And so with that, I'm complete, and I thank you all for being here. It's a joy. I did get, I'm much calmer. The energy has shifted a little, so thank you all for being present, and I send you my peace, my light, my love, as I thank you, I love you, and I respect you. Have a great week. Know that you are loved. Bye-bye.